that looks like it's positioned well. I can't help but compare myself to people around me. Excuse me. And unfortunately, I feel I've done that a lot throughout my years, and I don't know. I don't know how people don't do that, even to some degree, or like to the smallest degree. It seems pretty difficult to not instantly see what somebody else is doing, say, or have done, and put yourself up on some sort of pedestal and figure out where you think you match up. And that's just something that I do. Why, I'm not sure. I am a younger brother. I only have one sibling. I have an older brother, and he runs a company, and I work at his company. So my brother is my boss. He's the one that quote unquote signs the checks, even though I put the payroll together each couple of weeks. And my dad's my is the business manager of the company also. So today all three of us were in the office for quite a while. My dad and I are in the office almost all day, every work day except Mondays. And then depending on how much work my brother has going on, he prefers to be out in the field working, but like at least the afternoons, and sometimes it's half the day. Very seldom is it the entire day, but today was a good portion of the day, and it's cool in that aspect. But I also pay bills for the company, and so every day I'm reminded of how much money my brother has and how much I don't. Even though no one's telling me to think of it that way, that's just kind of where I go in my mind. And then I'll hyper focus on the fact that I'm, not doing I'm not making my living by doing something I truly enjoy versus I'm not sure what I was gonna say. Oh, probably like my brother, like what he loves to do. And I started thinking about that again, thinking maybe this is not what he dreamt of doing, but it's in the realm of it was going to be something outside. It wasn't going to be an office job or anything for him, but it makes sense that he's in the construction industry, and he's super successful because he just like works hard physically, and he's just a grinder. And so I think that's kind of why I don't ever give myself, like, there's Robin Hill. I don't buy into that thinking, like, feeling super, like, bad about, because I know because he deserves every penny that he's earned, because the dude works hard, and he's always, like, been super, he's just, like, one of those guys that can't sit still, which is perfect for someone that needs to be doing stuff physically, like, all the time. I, on the other hand, different. But, yeah, then I'll hyper-focus on that and then make myself feel bad. Not guilty, but just, like, be, oh, poor me. And as I've gotten older, I'm starting to realize that's not really it's not something that really plays into anything. Because no one's thinking about this. No one's saying these things or thinking about it except me. Like, I don't think my parents are like comparing both their sons' like bank accounts, and not that they have to because they know exactly how much I make, but I don't think they're like upset that I'm, in my opinion, floundering still, and that their oldest son has it together. I don't think, I just don't think so. I think for the longest time, maybe up until yesterday, I would be lying to myself if I said I wasn't concerned that I wasn't doing enough, making enough, and like I was making my parents continue to work because of me. But I'm starting to think it's like if they really didn't want to work, they wouldn't. And I mean like my dad's worked. My mom's been retired for a long time, but she's also been doing grandma stuff for 5 grandkids, and that's like slowly being phased out as the kids are getting older and going to school. But she's like my brother. She needs to like do stuff and be active, and I think my dad and I probably have never been bored a day in our lives because we could read or watch TV or exercise or talk or do anything. But like I don't need somebody to entertain me, and some people do. But where did I go to? Oh, I'm starting to think that like you get to a point where you realize you're gonna die one day, and so you shouldn't spend time worrying about things like this because it's just a practice in worrying, which is not helpful to anybody. And I feel like if my parents were, if I was doing something so egregious that was upsetting them, they would just tell me. And and I'm starting to understand that just not like worrying about everything, just do it. Like don't worry about calling someone or texting them, just do it, and then at least it's out there and you've started the ball rolling. But it just, at times you feel like, immature and like a little kid that you don't know all this shit already, and that like you turn 40 and the world seems like such a mystery still. But even saying that, no one fucking cares because they have their own life and world to deal with. They don't have time to like poke and prod and make fun or think about pretty much anybody else except them and their inner circle, I'm starting to realize. And yeah, I don't know. Today I just felt like I wasn't rushing this morning to get everybody out of the house. I knew I had time. I actually slept pretty well last night, and excuse me, I pulled, I think, my hamstring or my glute muscle all the way to my calf, or I don't know. I definitely ran my body into an injury on Monday. I mean, this whole summer and then I was trying to just grind out 4 miles, and from the start, one of my legs was, looking back now, it was like, I guess cramping, or it was like super sore, but I just grinded and I was almost back to my car. I could see my car, and then I just felt a sharp pain in the back of my left, like quad thigh down to like my knee area, and I tried to run through that pain, and it stopped me so that I couldn't run anymore. And so I haven't ran since Monday morning, and today's Thursday, and it was I had to take smaller steps. Like I couldn't do a full wide regular stride on Monday, but today it feels much better. But it doesn't feel like, I think I tried jogging a little bit last night or the day before, and it still was super tender. So I think I really do have to take almost a full week and see what's happening next Monday. But yeah, it's even to the touch right now. It's like a little bit sore. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't run. Also, last week I started the week with my longest run ever, and then it was almost, and then we went over 50. And I hadn't done that, I think, in like a month or so. I think I did 250s or 350s earlier in the summer, but yeah, yesterday. So I haven't gone. Today'll be the third day that I haven't ran in a row, but I think kind of at peace with all of it because I was kind of going to. I don't even know anymore. I'm at peace with it, but I wish I could go running. There's some guy running right now. Lucky. But I guess I should like really stretch and whatnot before. It's giving me more time to think, that's for sure. Because I know I just can't run for at least a week. I mean, it should really take like 2 weeks. I think the last time I think I had like shin splints 2 years ago. I took 1 week off and that wasn't enough. And then I think I took another, maybe 2, and then still, I think I had to do like 3 or so, and then slowly like come back on the treadmill and whatnot. Or I think I like pulled my Achilles tendon. I thought I had, and then I feel like I probably sat for a week or 2 then also. And then that's when I came back on the treadmill. But I digress. I started talking about comparing myself to everybody else, and then I switched up to, I don't know, talking about, I guess what I'm just saying is nobody really has the time to worry about yourself except yourself. I think not even, yeah. And if you think it's important to do something specific with your kids, then no one else is going to think that's as important other than you. And I started listening to the history of my hometown, just whatever I could find on YouTube, and I found that very, very fascinating. And I also heard someone talking about, it was Tommy Lee was talking about the grass is greener. And I can, what's the word? I agree with that. Or I can, what am I trying to say? I can sympathize? No. I definitely, I'm of the same thinking of that. I feel like I'm always, when I'm out, I'm like, when can I go home? But when I'm home, I'm like, I should have been out. And, that's not a good way of making my point, but I don't remember what they were talking about. But history. I think I've always been fascinated by history because I've never found our time that interesting, and that could just be my own like social anxiety, not wanting to take risks in general, which is pretty accurate of myself. But also, I don't know, is there not something kind of cool about, way back in dirt roads and no internet and no television, and it sounds extremely boring, but it sounds simpler. I'm definitely a simple man, and I don't know, I often romanticize about what it would be like to live in the Old West, or the 20s, or the 60s, the 70s, even like just how much better I thought it was like being a kid in the 90s and the 80s and the early 2000s. I felt like I was much more active. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was just due to like my parents getting us involved in stuff, and doing activities together on the weekends in the summer and whatnot, or having a parent that was off during the summer also, that kind of facilitated all our fun stuff. Because my mom was a teacher the entire time I was in school. She was an elementary school teacher, and so she didn't work during the summer, just like all our breaks all went together. And so she was heading up whatever activities or camps was going on. She would get us there, and then I don't even know what she did during the summer now that I think about it. Probably just came home and chilled, right? Or I guess we're just the when we got old enough to do our own things. So probably for 4 or 5 years she was just kind of chilling there, which must have felt good, I'm sure, after a lifetime of. But I think she likes it, or she did, and she does. She's an extrovert, I'd say, definitely. She feels recharged when she's around people. Excuse me. I think my brother's the same. I think I'm an introvert, and my dad, I think we're both. Although my dad is a great salesman, he could sell any concept to anybody, anytime. But actually a pretty quiet dude now that I've worked with him for about 6 years now, and our desks are next to each other. I think we're both relatively quiet at default screen mode, but he's got such great charisma, I think, obviously from years of practice, because he was a traveling salesman for his software company for a long time, and so he's got a good line of banter, which I always was jealous of, if I'm being honest. Yeah.